Here for the first fight of the evening tonight is Scarab with those crushing claws. It almost looks a little bit like UK competitor Thermidor. This beetle is looking to bug the competition. They're up against Vortex Inducer, and this has a beauty of a spinning blade on a big long arm there. It ought to have a good amount of reach behind it, as well as destructive power, hopefully. Teams ready and raring for action. This is Heat E. And Sergeant Bash is elated to be joined in the arena by Sir Kill-A-Lot. First bout of the evening now underway. Both these robots a little bit on the slow side. Vortex Inducer looking sluggish, it's got to be said. Scarab, a walker robot. Great feat of engineering. Walking robots, we love seeing them on Robot Wars, but they don't traditionally have much in the way of luck. They get an extra advantage in the weight category. But of course, being a walking robot means you have mobility issues. Both robots seem to have mobility issues, in fact. Neither one of them seem to be going very far, it's got to be said. The house robots are pushing them together, practically begging them to fight. The rotating blade of Vortex Inducer is up in the claw there of Scarab, but it's difficult to say that either one has the advantage over the other here. Ref got counting one of them out, but honestly, I couldn't tell you which one. Getting confirmation through that it is in fact Vortex Inducer that's being counted out here, because they've barely moved at all during this entire fight. I mean, let's be honest, neither of them moved very much. At least Scarab gave it a go, eh? Kill-A-Lot perhaps thinking of going to the arena floor flipper. No! Taking Vortex Inducer on a ride in a vortex of his own making. Kill-A-Lot's signature spinning move. Oh my goodness! He just snapped them in two! He just snapped that robot clean in two! I don't think we've ever seen anything like this on Robot Wars. Unbelievable! Well, there's really no coming back from that. Up in the air. With what remains of Vortex Inducer. Oh, dangling the carcass of this defeated robot now. As if to say, you want to step into my war zone? You better bring a better game than this one did. And to really put an exclamation mark on it, why not leave them in the drop zone? Ah, good old-fashioned cooker, why not? Their goose is cooked anyway. How do you like your robot? Rare? Medium? Ooh, well done. Oh, look at this again from the bird's eye view. Clonk! Haha, marvellous. A mangled heap of metal. Kill-A-Lot. Now taking the trash out. Throwing what remains of Vortex Inducer out of the arena. And there we go. Scarab through to the next round. Hoot not only has the hooting face of an owl, but it's also got some lovely all-around spinning blades, which are going to make it very difficult for any opponent to approach them. Veterans of the last series of Dutch Robot Wars, Pika 3 are here with their lifting arm, and the only robot in the competition that runs on Pika power. Our teams once again gearing up, knowing that the end is near, and opportunities to get into the finals are running low. Kill-Lot and Bash back in the arena. Their patience is certainly getting low. Pika right off the mark there, super fast on the offensive. Hoot, though, those spinning blades, they do make it very difficult to approach that robot. Very fast. Pika slightly the nippier machine, but what good will that do? You're not able to get a hit on the mark. Pushing Hoot into the arena sidewall and the pit release button, which means the Pit of Oblivion is now going to descend. Any robot unlucky or foolish enough to go down the pit is immediately out of the competition. Looking as though it's sizing Pika up with that cutesy little face on it. Then again, I suppose if you've got a Pikachu in your robot, that's another cutesy little face, isn't it? Kill-Lot's not got a cutesy little face, that's for sure. Well, he was trying to pick off one of the blades on Hoot there, who are now in the corner patrols on the CPZ and in very real danger. Kill-Lot has them in his grasp. This is not looking good for Hoot. Any robot daft enough to end up in a CPZ is fair game for the house robots to attack, let's never forget that. Pika already doing a celebratory spin. Hoot seem to have lost mobility. They're going round and round and round. Pika pouncing now. Taking his opportunity to push Hoot into the pit. And Hoot nobly sacrificing themselves. There was very little chance they had of winning this one at that point, unfortunately. Pika 3 through to the next round. Matilda sucks, how dare you? Team Blue and Team Baffle have joined forces to create Bluemax. A nice little lifting arm, very simple design, but ooh, I'm not sure this machine can go all the way. Now here's a scary looking robot for you, PulverizeR with an enormous vertical spinning blade. This one could be the one to watch. Wanted dead or alive? Who's that then? Possibly one of our producers. Team Blue. Up in the box there. Oh, Elvis! He's here to watch proceedings. 3 Elvises, in fact. Mr. Psycho, not really a fan of Elvis. Shunt, however, loves him. He's overjoyed. Look at him. Bluemax. Those balloons certainly aren't going to offer much in the way of protection from that blade. PulverizeR getting up to speed with that vertical spinner. The damage! Already little tiny chunks coming off of Bluemax there. PulverizeR team. What are they doing? Why Elvis? What's that going to do with this robot? You've got to love a good gimmick team, haven't you, on Robot Wars? That blade is a nasty, nasty weapon. Bluemax very much on the defensive now. Those massive tyres are exposed, and in an ARC Warzone, that is such a no-no. Bladed weapons, spinning discs, even axes, when aimed right, can cause huge devastation to big exposed tyres like that. PulverizeR team definitely know it. Refbot now counting Bluemax out of the match. PulverizeR picking them apart here. I mean, I'd love to say I was surprised, but I feel like Bluemax was probably a bit of a comedy entry. Team Blue were one of the weirder teams last time round, and joining with Team Baffle doesn't seem to have given them much in the way of help. And the balloons certainly weren't going to do anything, were they? The pit has descended, and the house robots have spoken. Judgment shall be passed on the defeated Bluemax by the executioner, the Honourable Mr. Psycho, aided by Lord Shunt. Shunt doing what he does best, pushing towards the pit, and there goes Bluemax out of the competition. ODT Zero is a very unusual, unique hybrid with a lifting arm and flywheel. You don't see very many of those, and that could be a great advantage. And the square root of 3 is a cluster bot, and you don't see many of those either. The weapons are flippers, lifters, and spikes. But they've got to be careful to keep all 3 parts of their robot in check. It's the Stig, or the Stigs. Mr. Psycho, not a big fan of Top Gear. Shunt absolutely loves Top Gear. I think Shunt might be the Stig. Square root of 3 immediately breaking apart. A lot of interesting tactical options open up with a cluster bot immediately. You can see there, one of them has activated the pit. Straight away, that's that element of the fight coming into effect. The problem is, of course, each of the individual cluster bots are very small on their own, so it wouldn't take a great deal of effort for the larger ODT Zero to take them out. The problem is, of course, for ODT Zero, when the square root of 3 starts working together, well, as you can see, the results can be catastrophic. ODT Zero not really causing any kind of damage at this point. The cluster bots working together very effectively to bully and antagonize the bigger machine. ODT Zero almost looking like it's running scared. The playground bully has become the bullied. All the little children ganging up on it. Steering it towards the pit now. This is excellent work. This is fantastic teamwork. On the square root of 3. Look at them go! They may be tiny, but they don't half-pack a punch. A little lifting arm there. It's almost cute, isn't it, that little flipper? ODT Zero trying to fight these teeny tiny terrors off. Having real difficulty here, though. These cluster bots really are quite remarkable. I'm genuinely impressed at this excellent show of driving skill. I'll be honest, wearing those racing helmets, I don't know how they're even managing to communicate a plan to one another. They must just be that in sync with one another. Drag towards the CPZ now. Shunt getting the X in. That little cluster is going to want to move away from Mr. Psycho. One blow from that meaty hammer, and it could be all over. And heaven forfend what would happen if Psycho decided to drive over one of them. There'd be nothing left to be squished flat. I mean, the size difference is insane. Mr. Psycho is simply ginormous. The Clusterbots now getting attacked by the House Robots. It's all gone a bit pear-shaped for them towards the end of the fight here. This one's going to have to go to the judges, surprisingly enough, and I didn't think it was going to go that way. And the strength of those last few moments, that could go either way. Our judges are going to have to be the ones that make the decision. And they've decided, based on control, damage, style and aggression, to go for the square root of 3. It's all 3s in this one. Pika 3, square root of 3. But there can only be one winner. Two teams of 3, in fact. 3 really is the magic number. But there's only one Matilda. Thank goodness. And Growler, Mr. Psycho's faithful pooch. His bite's much worse than his bark. Once again, square root of 3 breaking apart at the start of the fight there. Having a little difficulty with the teeth on the arena floor spinner. Oh, there we go. Look at him fly. Whew. Oh, Pika 3. They've seen enough. Straight into the CPZ there. No house robot at home, however. Pika 3 is going to have to learn from the mistakes of ODT Zero. Hopefully they were watching that match very carefully and very closely. Oh my goodness! Out of the arena and into the cameraman. Let's have another look at this. Impressive. Matilda's tail. Always so destructive. Don't worry though, our cameramen are very, very well protected. And so too the audience. There's no danger to any of them. Pikachu activating the pit release button. Now don't forget, for a cluster robot to be counted out of a match in Robot Wars, 50% of the robot must be immobilized. Or of course, otherwise defeated. But because the square root of 3 is a 3-part cluster bot, they're still in this. Albeit at a massive disadvantage now. They're really going to have to work together to defeat the larger robot now. Pikachu momentarily caught on the angle grinders on the side wall there. Refbot taking a closer look at events. Despite the size and strength advantage, Pikachu not doing very much to control the flow of this fight. When the cluster bots are this small, 2-on-1 should be manageable. And yet they're really taking the fight to their opponent here. Even missing a member, square root of 3, incredibly impressive as cluster bots go. We've seen some great cluster bots in the UK Championship, most famously Gemini, the twins. But this team are really something else, even losing one of their number here. It's going to go to the judges once again. Our team of judges, Matt Irvine, Martin Smith, and head judge, Professor Noel Sharkey, once again deliberating based on style, control, damage, and aggression. The decisions come through. And they've gone for the square root of 3. Incredible teamwork does it again. This one almost doesn't seem fair. Poor little Scarab. It looks nervous entering the arena. It's like it's shuddering and shaking. I think I would be as well. And I'm not a slow-moving walker bot. Matilda's not a slow-moving anything. And Growler is certainly not slow. They're once again overseeing this fight. Oh, I can barely stand to watch. And yet I must. I don't mind that much. Those eyebrows, they are menacing eyebrows. PulverizeR afforded the opportunity here to get their blade up to full speed because of the slow walking pace of Scarab, who already seem to be conked out here. No, they're back in it, they're alive. Oh! To be honest with you, I'd consider playing dead against PulverizeR. Walking robots always have such a difficult time of things on Robot Wars. We have seen some very clever designs for walker robots, but it's very rare they have the kind of speed and power behind them necessary to keep pace with robots like PulverizeR that do use that speed to their advantage. Greatly increased mobility, and of course, let's be frank, a much more effective weapon. Constantly uppercutting Scarab off the ground here. This has turned into a beating. Scarab mercifully being counted out. And there we go. The PulverizeR boys through to the Heat final tonight. And now Growler is going to have his fun munching on a beetle. Surely that can't taste very nice. See the sheer speed and power behind Growler's movements. He is not the kind of dog that you want to give a playful scratch or pat to. You might lose your own. And the arena floor flipping out Scarab. One of those flying Scarabs there. It really is remarkable to me how many of these Dutch competitors seem to love watching their own hard work go down the drain. They love it. Just absolutely going mad with laughter every time. Matilda nearly knocking Growler's nose off there. Oh, and down the pit. And farewell to Scarab. PulverizeR, to the surprise of nobody, going through to the Heat final. This one for the final Heat winner's place in the grand final episode. Pressure's on now, especially since Dead Metal's in the arena, with the pincers and circular saw blade, to say nothing of Mr. Psycho's mighty hammer and claw. Whoever wins this bout will join Lizard, Philippatu, Crabbot and Scraptusaur in next week's grand final episode. In addition, there are going to be not just one, but 3 wildcard entries joining our teams next week, selected by the panel of judges and the producers. It could be anyone from the series thus far. Don't know who you'd like to see in the grand final episode. Answers on a postcard to the usual address. PulverizeR now going to work on the cluster bots. This is going to be the biggest challenge those little robots have ever had. Still working together though, the spirit of unity strong with these three. PulverizeR, such a scary robot. That pit has now been activated. Oh! I'll turn this into a mugging clusterbot. Not having much in the way of luck though. Even 3-on-1, they are really finding it difficult. Oh my goodness, look at that. Tossing his opponents away is PulverizeR. The strength of that blade. PulverizeR so resilient. As far as the square root of 3 is concerned, this one may very well be about outlasting PulverizeR. Hopefully winning a judge's decision. It's going to be difficult now. That's going to take one of the clusterbots out, surely. And that's another one upside down there. Look at that wheel go flying. And now, because the second cluster robot is being counted out, looks to me like PulverizeR have got this one sewn up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that. Huge blow there from the latest robot to enter next week's Heat Final. A very, very impressive performance from PulverizeR as the house robots now come in for their little bit of fun. Huge blow from Mr. Psycho's hammer. I've been waiting for that all night, honestly, on the little ones. Well, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to be the grand champion next week? Don't ask me. It's all double Dutch to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.